Today I want to talk about if you've been sexually abused. Now, I myself was sexually abused from the age of 5 right through to 11 years old. Not just by one predator, it was my step-granddad since the age of 5. It might have even been before 5, to be honest, but 5 was the earliest memories that I can remember, all the way till I was 11 years old. When I was 9 years old, my karate teacher was invited into our home, and then he started to sexually abuse me as well. So 2 different predators all the way up until I was 11 years old. So the karate teacher for 2 long years, my step-granddad for 6 years. Now, one of the things, when all the abuse came out, the first thing that they did, social work, was have me investigated by a male doctor. So I had to lie naked on a bed while a male doctor interrogated me and looked at my private parts to check if there had been any damage or anything. Now, how horrendous is that? Like, seriously, get a grip of yourself. That was traumatic in itself. So doctors and social workers should really consider the damage that they're then causing after a child has seemingly been saved from being sexually abused. Another thing that I noticed that a lot of the counsellors and therapists did, or said, sorry, I should say, they constantly told me that it wasn't my fault. Now, that seems to be the norm. I heard it from so many people. When I was in the children's home, I heard it from one staff member to another staff member, one carer to another carer, one counsellor to another counsellor, one psychologist to another. It was said so often that I started to think, wait a minute, was it my fault? Now, as a child, I'm a young child, I know it's not my fault. I knew that it wasn't my fault that I was being sexually abused. I knew there was nothing I could do about it. I remember being a child and thinking, I know this is wrong and I don't know who to talk to or what to do, and I was scared to anger the abusers. Not for a second did I think this is my fault that this is happening to me. But once it all came out in the open, and one counsellor or therapist or psychologist after the next kept telling me that it wasn't my fault, and my immediate reaction was, I know it's not my fault in my head, it started to, because they kept saying it over and over again, it actually became quite damaging to the point where I was thinking, here, what was it my fault? Why do they keep saying that? So if you're a counsellor or a therapist or a carer in a children's home, before you start assuming that the child believes it's their fault, please take a step back and think to yourself, do they actually think it's their fault? Some children know that they're innocent. They know that there's nothing they can do. They know that they're small and this big scary adult is bigger than them and there's not a lot that they can do about the situation. So please think about the way that you are trying to help people who have come from child abuse. It's really, really important, because that was one of the things that hindered my healing as I move forward through into my adult life. So please think about what you're saying to children who've been abused, and think about the aftermath. I would have much preferred a female to look at my young naked body after the abuse came out, not a male doctor down looking at my private parts again. So please, please think about the damage that you're causing after the child has seemingly been saved.